so I'm using B first. How's everybody doing today? Hope everybody's doing good. I'm finally back on making, well, practicing OpenGL mainly, but making this solar system simulator. I'm trying to do the physics constants right now, that way, you know, I have actually the correct speeds in meters per second for every planet. I'm at orbit, not rotate. It's 1370. Jupiter speed, Saturn. It's just the average though. It's alright. I honestly think it might be kind of arbitrary to hard code these values in, but right now it'll help me get a better idea of how the speed looks between each of the planets. So I think eventually I will have the actual math to calculate in real time the correct speeds. This will be Neptune speed. 5430. Yeah, I think what I'm going to do is instead of doing a physics constants, I'll just keep it in physics. That way, it is, I think it'll be better. What part are you on Learn OpenGL? That's a good question. Yeah, I'm actually just done with the beginning tutorial. So I did, here I'll load my planet simulation for you. So I did the tutorial as well, but I basically am at a part where I'm taking what I've learned and putting it into my own program. And right now I'm making a 2D like solar system simulator from scratch. Also, I hope the stream is okay. But yeah, I'm trying to get all the physics correct the best I can right now. But then I'm going to go on to the 3D tutorial again. I appreciate it. Yeah, I think my next step too is I want to use Dear I'm GUI to have a window panel that shows all of the current stats of the planet. So like their positioning, their speed, and then I also want to rotate them. It took me a while to get to this point. Also, let me know if the stream is lagging or not. It kind of seems to be lagging on my end. So I'm curious if I need to do... So, gravity is different on Earth than it is for every other planet. So I'm wondering if maybe in... so I always forget whenever I want to code. Oh, I remember finishing the getting started part, but I never retained the info. My biggest suggestion for actually helping yourself retain info is teaching it to other people or talking out loud to yourself. It actually is it's funny because it's awkward at first, but when you talk out loud as you learn, you retain it a lot better. But also revisit it, like the same content that you learned, for example, the next day, and then the day after that. And then it'll solidify in your mind a lot better. So, yeah. Also, we're only one sub away from 300. That's crazy. I feel like the channel's been growing a lot faster lately. I appreciate everybody being here. And thank you everybody for the support. It's been really fun actually, learning everything. Yeah, of course, Mel. So I think, so right now if we look at our planets.json, we're storing a bunch of different info, like the orbit radius and the orbit speed of each planet. The only problem right now is we're storing these as floats because OpenGL process only uses floats. It doesn't use doubles. And it also has a range of -1 to +1 for it's a normalized NDC. What is NDC in OpenGL? It's like a normalized coordinate, device coordinates, yeah. So basically, OpenGL only can render things on the screen and within those ranges, for positioning at least. I think for speed it might be different, but I'm not sure. In fact, let's see for the Earth, let's turn the orbit speed to like 50, and if that changes anything, I don't think it will. Oh, never mind, it totally did. Look at it going crazy. That's awesome. Okay, let's make it even faster actually. Let's do like 100. Yeah, I mean it's going so fast we can't even comprehend it at this point. All the people are gone. Let's do 1,000. Yeah, so now it's just literally teleporting. So that's good to know. So if we did like 10, that would be pretty fast too. Yeah. So I'm wondering how we can normalize. We probably need to have a method that when we pass in and create everything, we normalize it to a better range. Maybe we say between 0 to 100, where 100 is like really fast. I don't know. I think it's probably fine right now where it's at, but I mean you can see it they all load in at the same point, and then the speed basically carries them a lot at different places, and then it starts to look like an actual solar system, which is cool. Yeah, because if I put it all in the JSON file and hard code it there, then I don't have to hard code it anywhere in the actual code, because that's pretty normal for like the actual. I don't know. I feel like that's normal for when you pass data. You want it to. I don't know. My assumption is the standard is to put hard coded values inside of files that you load rather than in the code itself. Excuse me. If anyone thinks otherwise, please let me know. Unless it's in like a physics file. Like, I'm thinking of maybe defining like more physics constants right in here. Yeah. I also am trying to look into pre-rendered graphics and seeing how those work, because I think they're pretty cool. I think when I actually make a 3D game, I want to try pre-rendered graphics. It's probably super painful. What constants, physics constants, Oh, gotcha. G equals, okay, so Smooth Wizard, have a look at my values. Yeah, I would love to. Because I'm thinking... Oh, I guess I forget that our gravitational constant, like when we put in a double, we can actually put E for the exponent. That makes sense. All the constants you want are there. What's up? Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome to the stream. I'm working on a solar system simulator. Also, look where I'm at. It actually looks pretty good right now. We got... All of the sprites are drawn by me. They look like crap a little bit, but... I mean, it's my work, so I feel proud of it. Also, Smooth Wizard, is it in the Discord? I can't remember. You helped me with the problem a few weeks ago, I'm pretty sure. Oh, gotcha. Also, let me know if the stream is bugging for you guys at all. It seems to be on my end a little bit. Let me know if it's choppy at all or the audio is good. Smooth Wizard, I'm guessing your stuff is in the Discord, so let me pull that up. Frame rate dropped a bit for a second, but audio is fine. Okay. I think that might just be my internet, so I apologize. Oh yeah, Wizard. I'm gonna check it out right now. Okay, I'm opening it. Alright, so you have... Gotcha, so you have, what is periapsis? What does that mean? I'm curious. Also, if you guys are new here, feel free to sub. We're almost at 300, which is crazy. What is periapsis? Is the point in an elliptical orbit where the object is closest to the celestial body and it is orbiting. Derived from the Greek word Okay, so an object is closest to the celestial body. Oh, gotcha. So like kind of when it's closest to the sun. Lowest point in orbit, apoapsis is the highest point in orbit. So would that be like if Mercury, whenever it's the lowest, I guess, I don't know, I guess. Okay, let's see. You have sim rate of 1.5. I'm actually curious, I didn't really look, I looked at the code pretty fast, but I'm gonna kind of look over this because it's interesting. You have the moon mass. Okay, so you have satellites as well. Phobos mass. So, I see how you're kind of defining a planet as a celestial body because that could be a star too. Is that right, Smooth Wizard? Like, instead of just saying it's a planet, it's just whatever. Yeah, it's kind of a cracked main at the top. The main entry point, I added bodies to the vector. That's where I also give the starting velocity. I'm trying to define, maybe have the gravity to define the velocity. Or, I'm going to try and see if I can define gravity, if that will influence the velocity of all the planets. That way, I don't have to hard code each individual planet's values. Maybe that way I can just pass in its mass and then the equation to then calculate it. Like, I guess it might be more accurate that way, you know? If we pass in the mass or the radius or whatever. Gotta have the caffeine to focus. Okay, so you have update, render, celestial body. Let me see if you have gravity. So it looks like your do gravity is a function that applies gravity to the body. Is that right? The mass is used in an equation to get the radius. Radius equals stood power. Okay. So the mass is used in an equation to get the radius. Gotcha. So we essentially get the mass through. Or in order to get the radius, that's how we have to pass in the mass, is that right? I'm just curious how we get the mass. We calculate the mass of the planet. Orbital characteristics. Gravitational perturbations. Yeah, that sounds like a lot of work, so I think I'll just do those as constants. Great job, man. Hey, I appreciate it. Also, English and ENG Muhammad. I don't know if I've seen you in here before. Welcome. You can just Google it and then turn it into the scientific notation with E. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because I'm thinking with our gravitational constant, we'll just make it a pound define, which I also am thinking like maybe just make this a namespace called physics. And then just inside of physics put all the pound defines for like gravitational constant, like in like this, or just even gravity maybe. Gravity is equal to this. Maybe something like that. How do you draw the planets? They look nice. Yeah, that's a good question. So I created a planet class that stores the mesh, but it uses a shared pointer essentially across all of the planets. So it uses a shared pointer which takes a mesh, it takes a position, and it takes a radius. It also takes an orbit radius, a speed, and a rotation speed, which I'm passed from a JSON file right now. And then that essentially is then thrown into a planet factory, which you then pass the shared pointer of all the planets to create all of the planets. And then that's where you throw in the file path. So the planet factory just takes the file path and creates all of them. And then it is then also the mesh generator basically generates a circle. So that basically just takes a shared pointer of our mesh, and then we give it a radius and then a number of segments for like, I guess the segments are basically how smooth it looks in terms of when it's being drawn. And I just passed in 36. And then the mesh is basically just vertices and indices and our textures. So that's basically just basic OpenGL stuff for, you know, rendering stuff. So we have our VAO, VBO, and EBO. And then we have a method to set up the mesh. And then basically main, all that main does right now, which let me find main. Main just basically has like our constants for our screen width and height, has our orbital attributes, which I actually think that we don't even need orbit speed and radius, so let me delete those. We don't have a camera because we're not in 3D. Yeah, and then basically main just handles all the simple stuff. Okay, so yeah. What is the inspirations for my game? So right now I wouldn't even call this a game, it's just a simulator. It's basically just taking an idea of like, hey, I want to practice OpenGL from what I've learned so far. And be like, hey, I want to make something that's my own and that's unique. That showed that I learned the concepts that I learned from the tutorial. So this is kind of just like a byproduct of like what I learned. And then the next thing I'm going to do is turn it into a 3D simulation instead of just a 2D. 2D is just easier for sprites and like art to represent, you know, something simple rather than having to create a whole 3D model. Just because like applying this texture, like any of these textures to a 3D model will not look like a planet. It'll look a little weird. Unless we repeat the patterns, which it'll still look a little strange. So it's better to just do it in 2D right now to practice also moving items on the screen. But yeah, I mean, I basically did all this by myself. I used a little bit of research. I did use AI for like fixing a couple bugs just because I was like, okay, I need help and I need context. I think that's what AI is really good for, but I'm not using it to actually write the code. I'm doing all this by hand. Just because that's how I use AI personally. Like, I will only have it write code if it's something that I need. That's kind of mundane, you know, something, but not for these personal passion projects. That's what I refuse to use it to like write the code. That's just how I work though. Also, we're almost at 300 subs, which is awesome. I appreciate you guys being here. Feel free to join the Discord. Let me put that in the chat if you guys are new here. And yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. Yeah, so right now it's really just taking like from a file like constants, but I want to actually use some inline equations maybe inside of here to calculate like compute gravity. So I think what I'll do is which I'm pretty sure inline C++. Are expanded to the call side during compilation, eliminating the overhead of function calls. Yeah. I'm pretty sure inline is just better for stuff like this. Declares a function to be an inline function. Yeah, I don't know. Use const expert variables inside the namespaces. The C++ compiler does not do name mangling with macros inside the namespaces. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, you're right. That actually is that's probably a good call. That's what I had before. Maybe how does this look? Just maybe like a context for double gravity. That might be better. I'm still learning C++. There's still a lot to learn, so I appreciate everybody being here to help. We probably need a variable that's like see, I'm thinking about Earth right now, but we need to store the height above Earth. I don't know, because we need the height above Earth to compute the gravity, I believe. I'll hold off on that. I think for now I'll just have it defined right here. Yeah. Okay, I'm trying to think. I think what I want to do in order to calculate the correct orbital speed and velocity of our planet going around the sun, orbiting the sun, we probably need to somehow have a calculation that does that for us. But the question is, does that just get stored in physics? I don't know. Because, yeah, I think that would go in physics. I don't know, man. I'm gonna see if I can clean up some of my header files more. I'm currently learning some animation stuff like 3.js and GSAP to add magic into my websites. Hey, that's awesome. You know, I just actually got done preparing for an interview using React and all that, and I used to be a React like just a JavaScript hater in general and TypeScript, and I don't like it as much as I do C++, but I actually quite enjoyed what I was learning. I think I'm going to probably go back and refine my portfolio website and just completely remake it in React with TypeScript. Just for practice as well, but yeah. Okay. I think I want to make a to-do list of what we need to actually do. So that's for... Okay. Finish up lighting chapter, need code practice, review the code base. Yeah, I think what I'll do is I'll go through the code base and clean up and add more comments for a minute. I think that would be a good idea. That way I don't have to go back and do it later. So I think what I'll do is for all of these classes, I will make sure that everything looks pretty similar, which I'm pretty sure I made this one look a little different. This is kind of dumb. I'm just double acceleration equals gravity times solar dot mass divided by distance times distance. Yeah, okay, so maybe I'll let's make a new note and we'll just say calculations for orbit simulation. The above equation is Newtonian gravity acceleration. Oh, heck yeah. That's awesome. Let me just calculate that, or copy that, I mean. It might be a little bit for me to do today, but yeah, for now I'm just going to clean up the files, and then, yeah, we will not worry about that. Physics, position. got OCD, man. Use a .clang format file and never worry about formatting again. Can you tell me where I can do that? Please help. I would love some help with that because that would definitely be nice. Format tool. ChatGPT sold me on it. Okay. How can I make a .clang format file for my C++ program? Pretty sure VS Code auto detects it too. Maybe LLVM would be the best. I don't know. Maybe LLVM would be better than Google. I don't care, but think the file just has to be at the root of your project. Oh, okay. And then does it just save on format or something? Or save on... Maybe I'll just try making it. Like the root of whatever folder VS Code is opened in. Next to my README. Okay, thank you. Okay, now should it just, how does it work, I guess? Sorry, I know that's kind of a stupid question, but... For me, it formats on save. Okay. All right. I don't remember manually configuring it in VS Code, although I might have just forgot. That's fine. I mean, I'm obviously gonna... I'm not too worried about it at the moment. This project is not like a professional grade project, so... It's more of a passion project kind of thing, like a side project. I think I'm gonna probably end stream there for tonight, but I'm definitely gonna be back on tomorrow. I'm gonna come up with a to-do list of things, that way I'm not sitting and like thinking about it the whole time. And hopefully we can get our planets moving more accurately. I think in a 3D simulation we would want like different constants like mass and all that. But really, I mean, we can only do so much in a 2D environment, so I'll focus on positioning and speed. And then we can probably add a mass in to, you know, for the actual velocity and acceleration. But when it comes to distance between our objects, I don't think that's really going to matter in a 2D simulation. But yeah. Thank you guys all for being here. I appreciate everybody for their support. Feel free to subscribe if you're new, if you want to be here for new streams. I appreciate you guys. I'm sure we'll be at 300 by tomorrow, so I appreciate you guys helping me reach this milestone. It really means a lot to me, and I really appreciate everybody being here as I learn, and I hope that you guys were able to learn a little bit as well, even though today's stream wasn't really a lot of learning. It was more fixing a couple bugs. But yeah, feel free to join the Discord as well, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Feel free to subscribe and join the Discord. I will talk to you guys probably tomorrow.